Hi, Professor Marcelo here today. I have my guest Lucas Wilhan. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, Lucas.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
We're gonna talk about what is to be a jiu-jitsu athlete in Quebec, in Canada. Lucas, if you don't know him, he's a black belt professor at Gracie Barra, and he's been competing for many years, like Abu Dhabi Pro Canada champion, brown belt, black belt. Recently he won the Las Vegas Open. So he has a lot of experience and kind of a unique perspective to share with the practitioners of Jiu-Jitsu in Canada. How do you feel it is to compete living in Montreal?
So it's quite interesting. So at first, there's not too many there weren't any big tournaments in Quebec. There was only like the Montreal Open, the Abu Dhabi Pro. So I would always wait until they had those, but other than that, we would do the local tournaments around over here and like really try to gain your experience doing that. So yeah, white belt, blue belt, you try to do as many tournaments as you can. Purple belt, same thing, you know. But then after, to get more experience, you have to travel quite a bit, like New York, Boston, World Championships in California, Pan Ams in California. So yeah, you'd have to travel a lot doing the bigger tournaments.
Like you started competing more locally, and then gradually you were moving to those bigger venues. How do you see that?
So at the beginning, yeah, definitely doing all the local tournaments. You're not really sure if you want to like fully commit to it, so like the more local the better. So you try to do it, see if you like it, first of all. So I found I loved competing, and you get like a really big high, especially from winning. Right, even losing, you get a huge high, so it's always like a bonus. And so you do as many like local tournaments as you can, and get the experience, you know. And then once you feel more comfortable going and traveling to these bigger tournaments, then you can do so and look to try to test yourself at the bigger tournaments. And you know, obviously there's more investments, you have to spend more money to travel, right? You can always look to carpool down with some teammates and go do it. It's always a fun experience when you do it with some teammates. So always good and positive vibe. Never regret competing, right? And actually spending the cash to go and compete, right?
Yeah, no, awesome. So you're saying that like because like sometimes you need to drive it, like you know, the bigger the venue, the more commitment, as you said. Like you said, compete locally in the beginning because it's lower commitment, right?
Yeah.
Financially and time, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. So going to another country or like going to California, you were able to do it because you have a team, right? So you kind of can share like some of the cost of the trip, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Although you're fighting by yourself, like you feel like you belong to a team.
Yeah, for sure. You know, especially like with certain programs, so you try to get all the competitors together, go down, you know, try to organize everything. It's really cool that you get that team atmosphere going down to a tournament, and everyone's trying to help each other out, you know, coaching each other, giving each other food, water, whatever, sharing, you know, sometimes beds in apartments, in Airbnbs or hotels. So you get really close.
Let's not get into the details.
Let's not talk too much about that. No, overall good experience, and you get to help each other out and have fun doing it.
You mentioned also, Lucas, that like you even get high when you lose, right?
Yeah.
So can you elaborate more? I think that's a big thing for most people that are initiating the competition. Like, how do you deal with the failure there? Like you lost, like you maybe tapped or you lost by points. Like doesn't matter, you lost, right? Didn't get the gold medal that you wanted.
Yeah.
So how you deal with that process?
So regardless of like winning or losing the first match or whatever, second, third match, going in there and fighting is like, you know, you're in the zone, and then you can, you know, fully get to test yourself in there, and that alone is a high. Obviously it sucks to lose, and like it can be actually really saddening to lose, but in the end, like you always can reflect and learn from your mistakes, and then learn to appreciate the competition for what it is, because it's helping you, and you get to like be in the moment and compete doing what you love. So it's always for me, I can always like turn it into a positive.
So you turn into a positive. That's like for sure makes a big difference, so you can keep consistent competing all the
Yeah.
time, because it's not a big hit on your soul.
Yeah.
But what are the sources that you access to kind of encourage you to be consistent? We know that's super hard training, the routine is not for everyone, so what are the things that, like in your case, you use?
Yeah, so try to set goals, mini goals, okay, if you haven't won a local tournament yet, so you should probably keep doing local tournaments until you finally get that goal, and you get that gold and you win. And then after that, you try to set another goal. So okay, now I want to do Boston Open, right? So it's close, and you keep trying to do the Boston Open or New York Open, which is IBJJF, until you can reach those goals and get the gold there. So then once you reach the gold there, then you can be like, okay, maybe I want to do the Pan Ams in California, right? And then you do the Pan Ams in California, see if you do well, and then that's always like a hard one to win. I actually got third one time, so I saw that I can do it. It's just I can keep going for there and keep striving to get that gold at the Pan Ams, the Worlds, whatever, any major tournament. And as you move up, you move up the ranks, higher belts, and you do the same thing over and over again. Like you go win the local tournaments at the purple belt now. Say you were a blue belt before, you won the local tournaments and you went through that process, then you do at purple belt, all right? So try to win the local tournaments at purple belt and the bigger tournaments, and then see how you fare against the best in the world at the Pan Ams world. So I always try to set the goals, try to do things that motivate you. So right now, what motivates me is more doing the IBJJF UAE tournaments, and try to move up the ranks, especially at black belt, where you need more points. So I'm trying to do all the opens that I can to move up the ranks.
First competition, can you remember which goal you had, or was the goal itself to compete in that specific year?
Yeah.
Like what kind of goal would you recommend somebody to set as the first competition experience? Yeah,
so my personal, I can only speak for myself, and my personal experience was I want to go and win. So I went in there, I had a good mindset, and tried to win. So I ended up doing really well. I won a couple matches and I ended up getting second place. You have to have some expectation to win. Definitely don't be so hard on yourself if it's the first tournament and you lose right off the bat. But you have to go and try to put that expectation on yourself to win, so you can truly test yourself, do the best you can, and then after you go back and fix some mistakes and you can try again. Keep trying over and over again until you get the results that you're happy with.
Yeah, no, makes sense. You gotta go with the desire to win, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to go to compete, right? Thanks a lot, Lucas. It's a pleasure always. You're a great guy. You're a great ambassador of Race Bar here in Quebec. So see you in the next video.
All right, thanks.